I think everyone that I talked to that walked away from the show was like, holy cow, like this is psychotic. And it is, but the book is so much creepier.
Welcome to Narratives and Nightcaps, Books, Beverages, and Author Conversations. I'm Bree, always ready to dive into new fantasy worlds and take a step back in time.
I'm Megan, part critic, always team physical copy, and forever chasing good thrillers and a great plot twist.
I'm Emily, your resident mood reader who thrives on chaos questions and lively book chats.
And I'm Jordan, equal parts heart, humor, and high-functioning caffeine addict. I come with coffee in hand, wine on standby, and a Gilmore Girls quote for every occasion.
Cheers!
Cheers!
Welcome back. What's up, everybody?
Hello.
Going.
Why does it feel like we've been like on hiatus almost? Like it just feels like it's been a minute since we've done this. I know that's not true, but maybe part of it's because we were missing a fourth of us the last time that we were together.
I know.
Megan, we're not.
I
complete without
listened
you.
to that episode, and so I appreciate you guys mentioning that I wasn't there because it was nice to hear I was missed. So thanks.
Of course,
I'm back.
you were
I'm back, baby.
and we're happy
I'll
about
come
it.
in hot for book number 3 for sure.
Okay,
I'm
I'm excited.
Okay. I also, Emily, I need to know how your garden is going.
Oh my gosh, it is exploding. Like, I will have to send you guys a picture, but so I went a little aggressive this year. So I have like 30 tomato plants now and like 7 cucumbers and I think 20 garlic plants, not to mention like, gosh, how many is that now? Probably another 20 to 30 strawberry plants.
Oh my God.
That's
when I
amazing.
planted it, everything was super small. So I was like, okay, maybe I'll get like enough for like a small, like a couple of months at the end of summer. Things have exploded. So like every strawberry plant now has 4 strawberries at least that are green, that are like starting to come forward. And the tomato plants are like flowering. And so I'm a little worried that I might have bitten off more than I can chew. So
Are you close like with your neighbors? Can you like dole out
Oh, yeah.
tomatoes and cucumbers and everything?
So it's so funny. So our neighbors have a tenant that live like they have a like a mother-in-law kind of apartment above their garage, and so he's able to see the garden like when he comes outside. And so every time I see him, he's like, "It's blooming! Like everyone's watching out for this." Like, and I'm like, "Yes, it is."
I love that. Oh my gosh.
And then it was totally influenced, not to totally roast, but by Instagram and TikTok, as one is. And have you seen the video of like the cucumber teepee for kids?
No.
A cucumber
Okay, so
teepee?
I'll stay tuned. I'm trying it this year. I'll let you know if it actually works. But you take like planters, like buckets basically, and you put them in a semicircle. And then you take like wooden poles and you make like a teepee so they all come out one in every bucket, if you're following, right? So they make a teepee. Then you put string around it and you plant cucumbers. So as the cucumbers grow, they trellis into the shape of this teepee that your
That's
kids can then like
fun.
play in, right? Because you've made like a teepee and then it's easy to harvest the cucumbers. So I thought it was a
Yes.
great idea. So I've got one in my yard, but we'll see if this actually like works.
I love that.
That's awesome.
That is amazing.
My neighbor that moved, he was a huge gardener. And
Yeah.
now that you've said that, like he used to grow stuff vertically all the time, like squash and cucumbers and stuff. So that's genius. And then they can go play in it.
You can go
How
play in
cute.
it. That's my. It's
Love
like
it.
it'll be imagination central. But stay tuned. I'll let you know if this TikTok Instagram idea is worth doing.
Please send pictures. I would love to see. On that note, we have officially planted zucchini and green beans.
That's awesome.
Oh, very nice.
Like
my
it.
gosh. I love
We
it.
shall see. They're sprouting wonderfully. We've
Love it.
gotta wait a little bit to see what they produce, but so far, so good.
Nice.
Oh,
That's
That is
awesome.
very exciting. Look at
I
you
love that.
growers. Everyone's just doing
I
great.
know. I'm over here like,
Where's Martha when you need her?
yeah, nope. Yep.
It forces me outside. It's a good thing.
Yes. I've already got, speaking of being outside, I have like, I don't know if you can see my watch tan lines coming
look
in
at
real
that.
nice. So
Okay.
Same.
gotta blur that out before the wedding.
Get a little self tanner for
Yeah,
that.
that's what I was almost debating if I should like get a spray tan. I don't know. It's been a minute, but maybe
Do
I
it.
should.
You,
Anyway,
That'd be nice.
the next wedding I have to go to isn't until like late fall next year, and I've already been thinking that I'll get a spray tan for it. I'm like, and
For
I'm
sure.
gonna have to get a tan.
Yes.
Mhm.
Get your nails done, get a tan, do all the things.
Yep.
Because
I do love
it's
it.
worth it.
Yeah.
Let's chat books and macchiatos and
Yes.
coffees.
Okay. So that's me. Number one here. Iced coffee, macchiato, whatever you're drinking. Emily, you did the right move this afternoon. So good on you, girl. Light little iced coffee action.
Yes.
My nightcap is not a nightcap, it's a coffee. But if you guys have not had the ube coconut macchiato from Starbucks yet, I don't know if it's made it to you. I don't know if I'm like the last one in the know, but like I just started having them recently. I don't know if maybe it's like their new summer drink, but they are amazing and they're a beautiful purple. Like it's they have it separated so it's like the ube on top, so it's like this beautiful like violet lavender color, and then they separate into the macchiato this like a creamy white. It looks very dreamy and it's so good. So if you have not tried it, I highly recommend. They put like little coconut shavings on there too. So if you're not a coconut person, maybe don't go that route, but I find it to be quite tasty. So definitely give that a try.
Oh, it's like yam.
Highly-
It's like a yam.
Yeah, it's a sweet potato-esque vegetable.
Yeah.
Because I was curious.
I
I
just-
have not even heard of it.
I'm
I
a ma-
remember, Brie, who did we interview?
It was
That
just me. It was Sloan Harlow.
Yes,
It was
Sloan.
Sloan Harlow that
And she was
had
telling us about ube, and at that time, I'd never heard of it. And then since we talked about it, I feel like it's been everywhere. Like I've seen
Right.
ube ice cream, ube drinks, like everything is ube right now, and it's so good.
and I want to say her nightcap pairing was an ube coffee, like
I
an
think
ube
you're
iced.
right.
I
Yeah.
think
Yeah.
it was an ube iced coffee. I'm pretty sure like made it herself, which is
Yes.
so
Impressive.
cool. But yeah, she was the first person that like introduced me to it too. And so, well, this sounds. I haven't had the release from Starbs, but it sounds so good. I love coconut, so I'm
Yes.
here for it.
Makes me-
Yeah, and it's
Okay.
a very good, like, subtle combination. So again, if you're not like a big coconut person, maybe that's not for you, but I just like they're both just so subtly sweet that it's just a really nice taste. So definitely try that. And also gardener girls, can you grow ube? Maybe you should grow some ube in your
There
garden.
you go.
Potatoes are on my for next year,
There you
but I decided I had to stop at a certain point.
Yeah. Yeah.
I had to draw a line in the sand for year one. We'll see.
Will you grow pumpkins?
I would love to do like a trellis, again, growing vertically, and do like a pumpkin trellis where they like then hang down but year three. I
Yes.
gotta draw a line at some point.
Another year.
Pumpkins can trellis. I've only ever seen them field.
So if you do a cattle guard kind of like fencing between two raised beds, you can create a pumpkin trellis that in the fall would have pumpkins hanging down that you could walk under.
Oh,
They wouldn't get too heavy?
that's
'Cause
what
you,
I'm
have,
thinking.
you get a special like a cattle fence that's like sturdier and you like
Yeah.
bend it yourself.
They can handle the
Um,
weight.
Yep.
Oh
And then think add lights, trick or treaters.
Yes. That's
Right,
like you have like
right.
an archway to your front
Archway.
door.
Exactly. Yep.
That's awesome.
I love your vision. I love your vision.
I know. I like that you've already researched this.
You know, it's funny though. That's what my husband says before he follows it up with, but we're not doing like,
Right.
but no,
But year three,
but year
yes.
three. Yeah, exactly. That's usually how he starts that sentence too.
Give it some time.
Uh,
Give it some time.
yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Well, back to books. Sorry, Ube derailed us. Now we'll get back on track. I have been reading lots of my favorite genre. So I've been just flying through books. I made a goal to read 40 books this year, like hard copy physical books. And I am 4 books ahead of schedule. So I'm feeling really good about that. So I'm going to keep up this trend. So I am still on my thriller, psychological kind of train because I just find that they are the easiest to read. I go through them really quickly. So my first one I'm bringing is yet another Freida McFadden, my girl. And this one is called The Intruder. Here is the setup. Who knows what the storm will blow in? Casey's cabin in the wilderness is not built for a hurricane. Her roof shakes, the lights flicker, and the tree outside her front door sways ominously in the wind. But she's a lot more worried about the girl she discovers lurking outside her kitchen window. She's young, she's alone, and she's covered in blood. The girl won't explain where she came from or loosen her grip on the knife in her right hand. And when Casey makes a disturbing discovery in the middle of the night, things take a turn for the worse. The girl has a dark secret, one she'll kill to keep. And if Casey gets too close to the truth, she may not live to see the morning. Ba, ba, ba. So this is another total, just like my last one, kind of like cabin in the woods vibe. This is giving like summer camp gone wrong, which I personally like for the summertime. Like, I don't know why, it just makes me feel happy. So this is another one along those lines. Per usual, I go in blind every time. We know this about me. That's just who I am. And McFadden has the recipe. It's a twist you can't resist. I also said shout out to Twizzlers because that's their tagline. Literally, like it always blindsides me every time I think I've got like a step. And again, like I'm not trying really hard to figure it out. I like the story to take me where it's going to take me. But every time I'm like, okay, yes, based on like this character name and this timeline, like I think it can be this. And then she just totally flips the script like the last 30 pages. So I love that about her books. I always have. I will probably always will. And I feel like it's just what sucks you in eventually is like when you know that that's how the read is going to go, you can't help but read it. I love that there's always multiple point of views in her book because I feel like it really amplifies the twist. Again, like you think you have this timeline and everything figured out and the structure, and then you're going in a totally different direction than you expected. I also said I preferred this novel compared to the last kind of campy one that I brought, which was One by One, where people get killed while they're in the woods. This one I felt like had a darker twist. I also kind of enjoyed the storyline a little bit more. Just compared to the first one, I felt like this one was a little less predictable than I had said the previous one was. So definitely enjoyed this one a lot more. And it is a thriller, but I will say again, with kind of the darker storyline, there are some trigger warnings, some like domestic abuse situations, things to maybe go in with a little bit more caution. But overall, such a fun read, such a quick book for me. I just devoured it. So thank you, Freida McFadden and Goodreads for the recap, per usual.
I love it. I love it. You're on your way to being another author's completist.
Yes, I feel like she is one I'd like to complete. Taylor Jenkins Reid, I just read another one of her books that I'll bring to a recap. Like I feel like I'm within like a couple books left of being a completist of hers. So I'm checking authors off my list that I didn't even know I had, which is fun.
You had me at Freida McFadden, but this one sounds a lot like a Mary Kubica book that I read last fall called It's Not Her. Same thing, like summer camp vibe, like kind of thriller, and everyone's hiding secrets, like not everyone is innocent, if you will.
Yes.
That sounds very much like this, and I loved that book.
I just feel like this book has stuck with me a lot more than some of the other Freida McFadden books that I've read, just based on kind of that storyline. So
100%.
Yes.
There you go. I haven't picked up Mary Kubica yet, but was one of hers Local Girl missing? That was what I was going to ask. Is that hers?
I think so.
That sounds familiar. I wonder if
I feel like I've read that.
I know. I'm
I
kind of
can't-
like, why do I know it's on my list?
I get her and Ruth Ware mixed up. Ruth Ware's
I
the
love
one that
Ruth
did The Woman in Cabin 10, right?
Mhm.
Yes. Yeah.
So
Local Girl
those are
Missing is Claire Douglas.
Is who? Claire Douglas?
Douglas.
another name
I've
to
read
throw
it.
in the mix.
I feel like so many thrillers after a certain point too have like very similar names. Like everyone has like local woman, local girl, gone girl, missing. Like everything is just like a regurgitated
All the
title
Missing
after a while.
Girls,
That
which is the book.
Yes, you're like, okay, I feel like I've read that one, but it's actually a different author, so never mind, I
Never
haven't. Okay, book number 2. So this one, I have wanted to read for a while, and I did things out of order. This is You by Caroline Kepnes. I hope I'm saying her last name right.
Is this the series? This the book
Yes.
that was adapted? Oh, okay.
Yes. So let me give you the setup. When a beautiful, aspiring writer strides in to the East Village bookstore where Joe Goldberg works, he does what anyone would do. He Googles her name on her credit card. There is only one Guinevere Beck in New York City. She has a public Facebook account and tweets incessantly, telling Joe everything he needs to know. She is simply Beck to her friends, went to Brown University, and lives on Bank Street, and she'll be at a bar in Brooklyn tonight. A perfect place for a chance meeting. As Joe invisibly and obsessively takes control of Beck's life, he orchestrates a series of events to ensure Beck finds herself in his waiting arms. Moving from stalker to boyfriend, Joe transforms himself into Beck's perfect man, all while quietly removing the obstacles that stand in their way, even if that means murder. A terrifying exploration of how vulnerable we all are to stalking and manipulation. So I say I did this out of order because I actually watched the show first. A, not realizing it was a book. B, not realizing it was a series of books. Hint, hint, if we want to do another series, let's get twisted. Let's go this direction.
Yeah.
Is that
So
Megan putting that out there for 2027? Because
putting the vibes out.
Yes.
I will.
Maybe we've
I
got
will
room.
hear that case.
So I had not, as I said, I had not read the book when I first saw the show, and I now have so much more appreciation for the book and the show because I just like the book fills you in on so much more than a show can ever express. I feel like that's kind of the typical, but I loved that I had the ability to like see those characters in my head as I was reading the book. So I appreciate the like backdrop, the setup, the characters, but reading the book itself was so much more intense than I think the show depicted. Like the show was messed up. I think everyone that I talked to that walked away from the show was like, holy cow, like this is psychotic. And it is, but the book is so much creepier, I thought.
Oh my gosh.
And I'm not, I feel like I've talked to other people that have said like they were more creeped out by the book than the show. Like it's obviously like it's a stalker show. It's very manipulative. It's very like he's always there, even if it's just in the background. Like you start looking through pictures and he's there. But I feel like the book makes you realize just how delusional Joe is. Like he is beyond anything I think like I feel like in the show he just looks like a stalker. Like he's always there. In the book, he is a psychopath, he is a sociopath. Like he's all of the above. He has no idea that what he's doing is wrong. And he truly believes in his narrative that he is the hero, he is the guy for her. And I just think it was so much darker than the show depicted. So I loved it. I obviously this is like right up my alley. I appreciated the book so much more. I knew stuff was coming because I had seen the at least season 1 of You, but I feel like it's also been long enough that as I was reading it, I was like, oh, I kind of forgot about that part, or oh my gosh, they didn't include this in the show and it definitely should have been. So it was nice to be able to come back to some of those moments or live a different experience because of the book. So I highly recommend. I think that I want to follow this series. The first book was so captivating that I feel like I want to continue on. However, if we decide to pick it up as a series special, then I don't know if I want to read it so soon. So you'll have to let me know what you want to do. But it was so good. So I would say if you've already seen the show, I think it's well worth it to go back and read the book. And if you haven't seen the show, definitely read the book because it is mind-blowing.
I mean, I know that we have 2026 planned out, but I am like very intrigued about adding that for 2027.
Yes.
I
feel like this would be a good, like, spooky, like, if you want a spooky season, like, it's creepy, stalkery, New York, like, I feel like it'd be a very fitting season to add it in.
I'm I'm not objecting. I could be persuaded. I'm not gonna lie. So I don't know. I'll let Emily weigh in if she wants to add something.
No, I was gonna say I think I've been living under a rock because this is the first time that I've heard of both the book and the series, but it's now
What?
on my list. So
What? Oh my God. I thought I was like so behind, but okay, Emily,
oh
you're
my
making
gosh.
me feel better.
Don't mind me, I've only seen Mulan 34,000 times in
You're
the last but
There you go. There you go.
so I'm no objection.
There you go. Are you gonna continue the TV series? Because you said you only watched season 1.
Yes, I definitely watched season 1. I can't remember if I started season 2 and stopped. I think this is a 3-book series, and I think all 3 seasons are on Netflix. I might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure they are. So I I guess TBD, because I feel like I would like the continuation of at least reading the book first and then watching the season, but we'll
Fair.
see what we decide to do.
Okay.
Because I don't necessarily like, I know that I spoiled it for myself, I guess, in a sense, because I didn't know that it was a book. But now that I know that it's a series of books, I don't know if I want to spoil it by watching the show first.
No, that's fair. That is fair. And I think there's actually 5 books in the series.
Is there? Okay, well, I knew for sure there was only
I
3
I was
seasons.
wondering if they're still making the show. That was like what I was looking into. But more to come. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. So I will pivot us, if I shall, and start with my nightcap. Um, Honestly, I'm just going with a classic Aperol Spritz at the moment. It's perfect. It's refreshing. I had it when I got to meet with Emily, and it was very tasty and yummy. And honestly, I feel like it's giving summer vibes. So I'll go I'll go that route. I'll go that direction. Um, Listener, I'm gonna preface my books with a couple things. First of all, I was late to recording today, so no, my reviews are going to be 100% off the cuff because there are no notes. So we're winging it. There's your disclaimer on that one. And then 2, here I thought I might bring you some lighter summer reads. That's probably going to be July's reading recap. We're going a little deep romance here with these ones. They're not the light and fluffy you want for summer romance vibes. They're a little bit more of the gut punch that some might say you look for, perhaps. So, listener, allow me first to tell you about Start at the End by Emma Gray. Thank you, Goodreads. Here's the setup. Start at the End is a powerful, soul-stirring, sliding doors novel from the best-selling author of The Last Love Note and Pictures of You that explores second chances and unwritten endings. Audrey and Frasier tumble into a romance for the ages. After an unlikely start, they fall deeply in love and dream of the life they'll build together, until one tragic moment upends everything. Facing the unimaginable and wrestling with guilt, they're left haunted by what ifs, each asking where they would be if fate had spun a different story. Start at the End is an unforgettable drama of 2 soulmates who have to find a way to start over when they had only just begun. I absolutely loved this book. It was incredible. I had the honor of hopping on a Zoom call actually with the author, Emma Gray, for my virtual book club. And it was amazing. She is just a sensational woman. She's also Australian, has a lovely accent. I could hear her talk for hours on end. Um, and how she came about to this story is absolutely beautiful. Listener, this is all over the internet, so this is not giving anything away, but she very tragically, unexpectedly lost her husband years ago. And he was very young at the prime of his life, all of these things. And so all 3 of the books that she's written Last Love Note, Pictures of You, Start at the End, all of them really sort of dive deep into these into this really kind of heavy subject matter. So, of course, some trigger warnings here, a little bit regarding addiction, suicidal ideation, any of those types of things. But I thought the sliding doors element of this was very intriguing. This was the first book I've read that worked that way. And it takes you a moment or two to wrap your mind around it, or even just to understand that that's what's happening. But it's very cool once you do. I found it extremely fascinating. Um, so if you're kind of like me and you're okay with being in your feels and getting a little bit of that gut punch, this might be the book for you. So that is Start at the End by Emma Gray. Megan said, I volunteer. I said,
And I'm not a big, obviously, I'm not a big romance reader, but like, what is a sliding doors novel to anyone who,
alternate.
myself, does not know what the hell that means?
So it's kind of like alternating realities, right? So in the description, right, where it talked about being left haunted by the what ifs. So without giving anything away, the tragic moment that we are talking about is losing a partner, right? Losing your mate. Okay, so one timeline, one viewpoint explores what would happen to Audrey if that was Frasier. And the reverse is what would happen in Frasier's timeline if that was Audrey.
Mm, okay.
So,
But it's
and
not real. It's just what if scenarios.
I will leave that to be determined. Promise, you don't actually like have to think that hard about it. It's just more of like, okay, if we're looking at Audrey from Audrey's point of view and she lost Frasier, what is that going to look like? If we're looking at
Hmm.
Frasier's point of view and he lost Audrey, what is that? What does that entail?
Okay.
Do you see some of the same characters that creep up in their timelines, or like what, what does life look like for each of them, kind of a thing? So,
Okay.
and
Okay.
yes, that would be a cool thing to like Google or research. I don't know if the movie came first or if the phrase came first. I was kind of thinking the same thing. And I've never seen the movie, but I definitely want to. So,
It's a romantic comedy per Google.
yes.
Sliding doors?
That's what this says.
Well, my pea brain doesn't remember laughing, but okay.
From 1998. Does that seem
Yeah.
Bree said, from my memory, there was nothing comedic about it.
right?
Oh my goodness. Okay. Well, allow me to serve you another gut punch, listener. We're going to talk about my second book to recap for you is Into the Blue by Emma Brodie. Again, shout out to Goodreads for this setup. In the summer of 2000, AJ Graves dreams of writing for SNL. Instead, she's stuck working in a video rental store with slim odds of escaping her Massachusetts small town and large family. Then in walks Noah Drew, the enigmatic and intense scion of the Drew acting dynasty, and her life changes forever. Despite wildly different upbringings, these two forge a deep cosmic bond, first as friends, then as acting partners, until one day, Noah disappears without a word. 7 years later in New York City, AJ is shocked to find herself cast in the same intergalactic TV production as Noah, by then a well-known Hollywood heartthrob. As their on-screen characters grow closer every day, the lines between reality and acting begin to blur. Unable to stay away from each other, AJ and Noah are forced to confront the truth of what happened years ago and the devastating secret that will send their lives careening apart, even as fate continues to draw them together. Blending unforgettable characters, explosive chemistry, and devastating emotion, Into the Blue is a journey unlike any other. One that asks, what does it mean to diverge from the script to forge your own story? So this was a really interesting read. I liked it a lot. I thought AJ and Noah were really great characters. I was drawn immediately to their chemistry. I can't remember if I've shared this on the podcast before. Yes, I'm an audiobook girly. I don't tend to audiobook my romance. I just can't quite do it. I managed it with this one because Julia Wayland narrates and she did a fantastic job. So this one also follows like a lot of the script writing and what goes into production and how everyone's lives from cast and crew all kind of come and blend together. But yes, it does still deliver a gut punch. So if you're looking for the light and fluffy here, like I said at the top, listener, you're going to have to wait until I can come with those maybe next month's recap. But this one was very, very good. Highly recommend. Especially just as one too, that if you're looking for kind of those characters that will just kind of immediately draw you in, I thought Emma Brodie did a really great job of that with this one as well. So that was Into the Blue by Emma Brodie.
I love both of those, and I think your timing is perfect because as I'm now 6-ish months post Heart the Lover, I do feel I'm ready to be hurt again, and either one of these are, I want to read both of them, and so I may have to pick one because Heart the Lover destroyed me so much that it has taken me 6 months to recover from it, but I'm very much ready.
Well, when you're ready to answer the question of how much you want to be destroyed, then you and I can talk offline and I can tell you which one I think would be better. Because I like have in my mind, well, because I remember when you brought it to the podcast and we talked about it, because we had like some different opinions kind of on it too. And I do agree. I think either one of these is a good, like, if you're in the same kind of mood or you're looking for the same sort of vibe, I'm with you. It's just a matter of what level, what depth of destruction are we looking for?
I love those vibes. The issue is that I carry them for so long. I think about Heart the Lover once a week, at least.
Okay. Well, there you go.
Those are always the best for me. For me, I always need a couple palate cleansers, like before I can then jump into another like emotional, devastating book.
Oh, same.
That's the hard part.
100%. 100%. Hence the reason I'm reading some lighter things now so that, listener, for July's reading recap, maybe I'm not going to deliver books that are such a kick in the pants, you know?
I got us some lighthearted ones today. Don't worry. I'll end us on a high note.
Oh, good. Oh, good.
Don't get this book confused. There is a 2005 Paul Walker movie also called Into the Blue. This is not the same. This is not the same.
No, that is a great movie, though.
I know, that's what you already started talking about it, and I was like, I've seen this. I know this movie. And then it was not the same. And I'm like,
there are sharks. There's treasure. There's cocaine on a plane.
Yes.
We've got drugs.
That is not this book.
If we want to talk about emotional destruction, I think you can just pop on any Paul Walker film and I'm easily sad and destroyed. So
Into the Blue, I did have that one on DVD.
Well, I'm gonna try to move us back up the positive mountain here with the two books that I've got to share. Also emotional, but more whimsical. This month I was reading more shorter, like Jordan, I'm going to borrow your phrase. Both of these books have excellent Cheeto chapters. And just were like, they had emotional depth, but or more whimsy and happy and little magical realism kind of sprinkled on top. So we'll jump in. But first, I'll talk about my nightcap. Well, not necessarily a nightcap per se, but the iced coffee that I have devoured while we've been talking books on this episode is a Dalgona coffee. And it is my absolute favorite iced coffee to make at home during this like spring, summer season. So it's actually pretty easy. You take equal parts sugar, espresso powder, and warm water and like whip it together until it makes a paste. And then you fill a glass with ice, milk, and pour the paste on the top and like mix it up. So you've had a Thai coffee before. It's kind of like that consistency. Yeah. But it's awesome. It has espresso powder, so there's a lot of caffeine, but it's great. Highly recommend. So cheers.
We need the
That reminds
caffeine.
me of, did you ever make when it was, COVID times, the like whipped coffee?
I had it at your house when Kyle made it for me.
Yes.
I still have a
was gonna say,
photo on my
that's like the
phone.
base. That's the base of it. Yes. Same thing. You just didn't whip it as long. Yep. Perfect.
Yep. That's like every year, that's my tradition is on Easter, I make my first Dalgona coffee of the season because it's like, we're going into the light. We are leaving winter.
Yeah.
Into the light. Here we are. Yeah. Exactly. So
Nice.
it's great when it's warmer outside.
That sounds so good.
All right. Well, it's delicious. But let's jump in. So the first book that I want to talk about is Villa Coco. And actually, this is coming out on June 9th. So this is like perfect timing. It is coming out in a couple of days from when we're recording. So let's jump in. Thank you, Goodreads, again, as always, for these summaries. Broke and directionless, our young man takes a job in the Italian countryside as the all-purpose assistant to Lisabetta, known to her friends as Coco, a strong-willed, wealthy widow of great local renown. Trained as an archivist, he thinks he's been hired to catalog the contents of the beautiful crumbling mansion nestled in the green Tuscan hills. But what are his actual duties? Days are spent ridding the house of a martin, whatever that is, locating the antediluvian septic system, entertaining an endless carousel of guests, from bohemian painters to elderly princesses to unnerving handsome nephews, attending a funeral in order to make off with the urn, and not inadvertently sabotaging Coco's great and final plan to locate the lost love of her life and be reunited before it's too late. As summer turns into autumn and the Italian countryside begins to work its magic on our protagonist, the secrets of Villa Coco and its inhabitants are slowly brought to light, and with them, an unforgettable story of the enduring power of friendship. This book just made me smile, like the whole way through. It is like, I don't have it with me here, but it's short. It's 300 pages. And as I said, lots of Cheeto chapters. So absolutely perfect for summer, whether you're just at home or traveling, like it's easy to go through. It just, it was a happy book. I needed something a little more lighthearted. Coco herself is absolutely iconic and exactly how I want to be when I am in my 90s. She is eccentric, throws nightly parties for just the neighborhood and people in town, and always opens her door. Like, she is always saying like these super witty one-liners like throughout the book. Loved her. And honestly, like as the story went forward, she starts out as what you think might be this kind of a little crazy old lady that's just living in this crumbling mansion. But when you start to learn more of her story and why she's gathered the friends that she has around her, the depth of all the characters comes through, which was really fun to uncover as you're following the protagonist through the story. The villa itself is full of things that Coco's collected in her 90 years of life. So in every crevice, there's something new to discover. And throughout the book, they always seem to like move around. So the villa itself kind of becomes its own character in the story, which is fun as you're, going through the daily duties of the protagonist. It's also, I think, one of the things that was really entertaining is the protagonist doesn't actually speak Italian when he goes in and enters Villa Coco. So there's a lot of funny scenes in the book about him trying to learn Italian with this cast that doesn't speak English very well. So anyway, entertaining, fun, just a great summer read, honestly. If you're looking for an escape, highly recommend. So then for my second book, I want to talk about The River Muse. This one has absolutely captured my heart. I want to talk about a book that like you think back on. This is one for me. So let's begin. Thank you, Goodreads, as always. A French chateau, a forest with secrets, a magical spring. Welcome to La Chanson, I'm butchering this, where lost souls are found again. At the brink of summer, Callie arrives in a secluded village in the south of France with her young daughter, after barely escaping her menacing ex-partner. Desperate to hide, she rents a cottage on the grounds of the Chateau of the Lost. Her new home sings with flowing water, rustling olive trees, and whispering poppies, an otherworldly nook of hidden magic. Little by little, she warms to her quirky neighbors, a witchy landlady, an acclaimed truffle hunter, his kind veterinarian son, and their lovable dogs. Oh, and a mischievous ghost boy. Slowly but surely, her new friends help her discover herself again. Years earlier, she gave up music at the insistence of her ex, but as she reclaims her voice, everyone finds that her songs open hearts and heal old wounds. When her ex tracks her down, the stakes grow deadly, and she must tap into her most powerful self to protect her newfound family. I loved this book. Absolutely loved it. Again, it's like 300 pages, maybe a little over, short Cheeto chapters, but absolutely captured me from the beginning. I mean, you can't, in my opinion, humble opinion, you can't go wrong with like French countryside in summer, truffle dogs, a mischievous ghost boy that's really trying to help, and a wine witch. Enough
Love
said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Sounds like Casper
So I said
plus
this one-
wine.
Yes, there you go. Exactly. Right. But this is one that has a little bit of magical realism, kind of depending on how you interpret, you know, certain parts. But I just loved it. I will say, and I think this is more me and Megan, you've probably, I think, said similar comments on other episodes. I was a little frustrated and kind of taken aback at how naive Callie was at the beginning. I will say also trigger warnings. I think it kind of said that in the summary about domestic abuse and emotional abuse and you know, that side of things. So I was a little frustrated with Callie as a character at the beginning, but as she evolved and went on her journey and you know, discovered, I don't want to give this away, more about herself, I think she grew on me as a character. And at the end, I absolutely loved how that journey ended up. I loved that, like, the spring that she's near, the chateau that she stays on, and even the creatures in the forest all have an element in this story. There was definitely that like magical realism part that made it feel a little bit like Snow White in a bit, but in a positive way. But yeah, honestly, this just felt like a big hug in a book form. I would recommend.
I
Cheers.
always love when a book
Yeah.
provides a hug. It's really nice.
Yeah, it was great.
They both sound like great summer reads. And Villa Coco, you said that one's good for Pride Month too.
Yes, I meant to mention that on my notes, that if you are looking for a book for Pride Month or to be on theme, that would be an excellent choice. Highly recommend.
Good to know.
Yeah.
I do love your comment, Emily, about just feeling frustrated with like a wishy-washy female character. That's like, I don't want to say it's a pet peeve, but like it kind of is. Like I feel like if you're gonna be a woman, like go in, go hard, figure your shit out. Like it's, you just have to. Otherwise, I'm gonna be like, girl, bye.
That
Megan
was,
doesn't
like,
give
my
many free
perfect-
passes.
No, but I kept like at the beginning going, "Come on, girl, you got this! Like, come on!" And
Yes.
we got
Especially
there.
if you have
but
like
at the
other
beginning, I'm
people
going,
depending on you, it's like just figure it out.
Yes.
Just figure it out.
figure it out. Yeah. Yep. But we
I'm
got
with
there.
you.
We got there. Yeah.
I don't know whether or not
Okay, cool.
it's like more frustrating when it's a mystery or like, you know, the female main character has to be like a heroine. Like Megan, you talk about like, oh, she doesn't know how to do this or she doesn't know how to do that. Or if it's worse in like romance where she's like wishy-washy. They're both rough. Anyway.
I just, for me, it's
It-
like basic common sense. Like, if you cannot figure something out, I don't care what genre we're in, if you don't have basic emotional common sense, I have a problem with you. Maybe that's harsh, but like I feel like there's some stuff where it's like it you could if you just gave it 3 more seconds of thought, you would have been okay.
You would have gotten there. You
Well,
would have
that
gotten
I'm like, that's critical thinking skills. And you said that very well. Like, if you just took 3 to 5 more minutes of time, I know you could figure it out. I know you could do it.
I've prolonged the conversation. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Brie.
Okay, I have a summer beer for us, which is an unusual thing for me to bring to the table, but it is well worth it, I promise. So this is the Orange Crush, which I believe is going to be similar to a pairings that Megan has brought before, but this is a Florida one. So this is an American wheat beer with notes of wildflower, honey, and sweet orange peel from Hidden Springs Ale Works in Tampa, Florida. It's family owned and operated in Tampa Heights. They have like a super heavy focus on community, creativity, and connections. And I just said I highly recommend for summer sipping if you visit the Tampa area and want to go. It is so good, and the can is not that this matters, but the can is so cute. I love it. I'm obsessed with it. And so I have to typically be in the mood for a beer, and I would say like I like beer, but I'm a pretty picky beer drinker. And I'm obsessed with this. I've ordered it multiple times. When we've gone, I get other people to order it because it's so good. So if you need a summer beer, I don't know that Orange Crush is available across the states or across any pond on either side of us. However, if you do find it or you're in the Tampa area, I highly recommend.
It sounds very
Okay.
refreshing.
Oh, it's so good. It's so good. We're talking about it makes me really want one. Okay. So, before I get into my two, I just want to do some honorable mentions for books because May was definitely a month of sequels and book twos for me. I also just read a lot, which yeah. So, Fury Bound by Sable Sorensen, Broken Dove by Danny Francis, and The Ballad of Falling Dragons by Sarah A. Parker, right? I didn't write. Is it an A?
Oh my gosh. Brie, I haven't gotten to the Ballad of Fallen Dragons yet. The one sentence, what's the one sentence? I know it's an honorable mention. One sentence, thumbs up, thumbs down.
My thumb is up, and my one sentence is for you is that I enjoyed it even more than book one.
Really?
Really, really.
Oh, okay.
So, if you want me to bring it to a recap, I can. If you want me to divulge, or we can talk separately. But that is my take on The Ballad of Falling Dragons. But honestly, I mentioned all three of those because I enjoyed all three of them and highly recommend. So if you've read book one in any of those series, continue on with your journey. Okay, I have a couple of arcs for us. This first one is coming out June 30th. It is called Meet Me at Midnight by Brianna Bourne. So thank you to Penguin for the digital e-arc of this. And then shout out Goodreads for this lovely summary. Every night at midnight, time stops and Arya wakes up somewhere on a moonlit path. Between towering sequoias, a remote waterfall in Bali, under a canopy of sparkling lights in the Italian countryside, and every single time, a frustratingly arrogant but very cute boy called Strat is there too. Arya can't shake the feeling that she knows Strat from somewhere, and as their midnights become a place of calm in a world that is breaking around her, flashes of an exhilarating, love-soaked year as a couple start to resurface. Stunned, Arya finds out that they had their memories of each other erased. But why? And why is this unknown force drawing them back together every midnight in ever more exotic locations? All right, so you just got more information than I ever had going into reading this, and that is 100% on me and not on anybody else. I went into this just like a bit blind. Shout out Megan for that. Went in a bit blind, more so than I normally would. And I was thinking, oh, this is going to be some sweet, whimsical, magical realism romance. I was not expecting this futuristic plot that I just hinted about. I heard Dreamscape, and the hopeless romantic in me was like, yes, I love dream walking storylines where people are meant to be and they somehow find each other in their dreams. Love it. But all that said, when the memory erasure element was introduced, I was pleasantly surprised and even more intrigued. That futuristic, very light sci-fi-esque element, along with the mystery of why they erased each other, was like what really had me turning the pages in this one, because I wanted it. I wanted to know. I wanted answers. I will say I also appreciated the depth to Arya, in particular, her relationship with her twin sister, and then some harder family dynamics that she's trying to navigate as a young adult. I really appreciated that context in the storyline. This is very much like Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, and If I Stay, which, if anybody, I read that like back in high school, and I think they made a movie about it too, so I love both of those. But this book really is about real life, how messy it can be, the mistakes we make, young love, and how deeply a person can feel the both good and bad.
So intrigued by the dream walking like aspect of this story. I'm like, so I want to read it for many reasons, but that one like stands out. I'm just so curious how that evolved through the book.
It's fun. So this was also, I think, like very Cheeto chapter-esque. And so the pacing of it between the midnights, because they meet every single midnight. So every single night when they go to bed, they go to sleep and they find themselves at these midnights. And that was very fun and interesting. And so you have that pace with then all of these reveals that are coming out, which I think also just made it a really quick read. I felt like I breezed through it, honestly, which doesn't always happen because I was reading it on my phone. And sometimes I struggle a bit to read on my phone, not because of the book, but because I just have a hard time reading on my phone. Yeah, on a like tiny itty bitty screen. But this one, just the pacing of it, between the dreams and then what's happening in real life, and the mystery element of what's going on with Arya's family, what's going on with her sister, why did they erase each other? That's obviously not a spoiler since that comes in the Goodreads recap, and nobody else knew, everyone else knows that going into it. I had no idea. So that was a big like shock for me when that was revealed. But it just was a really like quick, easy read.
Very nice.
Love it.
I'm intrigued.
Question for you guys. Would you ever consider having a memory erased if you could? You can be as specific as you want about it.
If I could pick, yes, because I have dreams about the shit that I wish I couldn't remember. But then on the reverse, I wish I could get like pumped back with memories that I want. Because Brie and I talk about this all the time. Like I've noticed this too, and I don't know, like if I don't know what's wrong with me, but like, so my son right now is very into like, Mom, tell me a story about when you were little. And I like cannot, like I draw a blank and I'm like, is there something wrong with me? Why can't I remember this? And Kyle, my husband, was like, well, I think he's saying that he thinks that we lose some of those earlier memories to like make room for the current memories that we're making. But I'm like, I can't not tell my kid a story about when I was little, but I can't think of anything. So if I could erase the bad stuff that gives me cold sweats and nightmares to this day and pump in the stuff that I wish I could remember, that would be perfect. That'd be like a perfect equilibrium for me.
I'm going to say, I don't think I would. Like, I think that the memories that the good, the bad, and the ugly, or the cold sweats, right? Whichever one you want to call it. I think I've at least learned something, or thinking back on it, like reminds me of a reason why I made a certain decision. And I would hate to have that erased and then make the mistake again, or make the bad move again. But Megan, you made me think, because I did not think about the reverse of like, I would take childhood memories and could they just like upgrade them to 4K instead of having them sit in the back of the memory bank?
Yes. Like bring
them
those
back
up.
into full.
Yes.
Right. but I don't
Yes.
think I would do it.
You don't
Bree,
have
what about
any
you?
like cringy, like, oh, I was
Oh,
blackout
I have
drunk
a
and now I'm like
million.
remembering those
Oh,
flashes because that's me.
no, 100%. 100%. No, no. I don't get me wrong. Like I have ones that would be lovely to erase, but I think each of them, like I've walked away going, gosh, I was stupid or whatever, and not going to do that again. That's going to remind me not to do that again. And I think if it were erased, I would worry that I would do it again or whatever it was,
Fair
right?
enough.
That I've at least extracted the life lesson and I like to think might be a better person because of it. Who knows?
That's a good outlook
But
on life.
that's me. Bree, what about you? Would you do it?
I think if it was an actual opportunity, I probably wouldn't. But in this like hypothetical, yeah, I would love to get rid of just and I'm talking like the stupid cringeworthy stuff. Like in Mr. McDonald's class in 10th grade, when he like asked a question and I thought I was answering it out loud, or I thought I was answering it in my head, and I just kept talking out loud until everyone was looking at me because I was actually speaking out loud and I thought I was talking to myself. I would get rid of that because that keeps me up at night. And then I don't like that story. And I don't know why. Like that's so stupid, but why do I think about that every single week? I don't know. So I'd probably get rid of I'd get rid of meaningless stuff like that. I'm not gonna lie, I would also like to get rid of the memory of me hydroplaning on the interstate because to this day I have an out of body experience when it rains while I drive, and I would love for that to not happen anymore. So,
Here.
if I did it, it would be like very, I think, small, sort of meaningless things. And especially if there was that option for other memories to take up a more permanent residence in my brain.
Yeah.
Um, because
Yeah.
yeah, Megan and I talk about this a lot that we don't know what's happening with our memories.
Like I'm
Um,
genuinely concerned. Like I want to see my doctor. 'Cause I'm like I feel like I'm losing my mind.
But I don't think I would. I'm even like I think back to a relatively recent 6 to 8 month period, and like the rash person would want to get rid of all of that to never have to think. But I agree. I think there's like a lesson in that we don't want to repeat our same mistakes. We don't want to do it over again. But if I can get rid of some dumb stuff that wakes me up in the middle of the night that I just shouldn't have done, and I can replace it with another memory, I'm in.
Agree.
The last one I have for you, so that was Meet Me at Midnight. It comes out June 30th at the end of this month. The next one I have releases August 11th, and it is Let's Kiss and Tell by Joss Richard. So thank you to NetGalley and Dell for the e-arc of this one, and then thank you to Goodreads for a little summary here. Lucy reads about to fake it. As a sex columnist, her views on relationships aren't exactly optimistic. Instead, she encourages readers to embrace their sexuality and that you don't need a partner to be happy. But when her team claims that all their readers are in relationships and that it might be time for something or someone new, she has to act fast. Enter Marshall Oakley. Marshall is the new senior news writer at Lucy's company, and he's just confessed to needing a girlfriend for his ex's wedding. Faking a relationship is perfect. Marshall can finally prove he's moved on, and Lucy can write about finding, quote, the one, only to break up and prove to readers and her bosses that relationships don't solve everything. But spending lots of time together and faking affection has lines blurring, and now the two of them must find the courage to rewrite their story with a happily ever after. Okay, so very different vibe and audience from the last one. So whereas Meet Me at Midnight, a little more YA, this is definitely an adult contemporary romance. This is my first time reading a Joss Richard book, but I'm definitely here to stay. I actually have her debut, It's Different This Time, on my bookshelf now because of the way that I consumed this. The vibes for this one are somewhat How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days, which I immediately that's enough in my opinion. We could just like end the review there. That's all we need to know. But I will say that I thought this was a very creative and still believable take on a workplace romance and fake dating. So if those are tropes that you love, then this is definitely one for you. The tension and banter between Lucy and Marshall, he goes by Marsh, was so good. I was definitely blushing at certain scenes, which I can tell you all. Like, it's not really an embarrassing story, but I'll tell you a story in a second. I also, and this might just be a me thing. So I love that they both had writing careers, but very different sides and aspects to that. And yet at the same time, Joss did an incredible job of conveying very relatable pressures and uncertainties, especially in that industry. It had me reflecting a lot on my career in journalism too. And then this is, I don't know that anyone else cares about this, but like, so Marsh is very much a news writer, and so he is all about the facts and not including his opinion and things. And Lucy is on the flip side where she writes a lot from feeling. So just two different sides of the coin. And I love that it alternated between the two of them and what they taught each other throughout the book. There is the addition of complicated family dynamics, which I'm always here for. And I thought it was super honest, very raw. It added a lot to Lucy's background in particular and her voice, and then her growth too with this story, which I thought was amazing. I did say, with that said, like, I personally tend to like contemporary romances where the characters are a bit more messy and they make some frustrating choices, which is certainly the case here, in my opinion. But I like that because I think it adds to the emotional roller coaster that you want with a romance, and then ultimately the growth that you see. And I thought it was a really job well done in this instance. Please listen to our mini bonus episode with Joss. So part of the reason that I wanted to read this was because I did interview her at Love Lit Con, and she was telling me a bit about this. So here's my little story for you guys. So I knew only what Joss had told me before I read this and before I requested it on NetGalley. And I go, so is there a scene that you're most excited about for readers to get to? And she goes, there's a car scene, and that's all I'll say. And me, I was like, okay, I know what's gonna happen in that scene. Obviously, like, we're talking about car sex or something along those lines. That is not what happened. I was so surprised by the scene. And like, in the best way, but like literally blushing right now. So please read it so that you all can too know what I'm talking about. And now, so I'm so excited because Joss is going to come back later this summer to do a full feature episode. And I can't wait to talk to her about that and how I like thought I was so cool. And I was like, all right, so stuff's going to happen in the car. And then I was so wrong about what happens in the car. So yeah, so she'll be back later this summer to tell us more about Let's Kiss and Tell, which comes out August 11th.
I know, now I'm so curious. Yeah.
I'm not going to divulge anymore. You have to read it and find out for yourself. And then we can talk if you want to. On that note, I will just say too, we have amazing author interviews that have happened and are coming up later this month. First, if you haven't listened to my conversation with Ilona Bannister about 5, please go listen to it because I have to tell more people about this book. I'm just like, I can't stop talking about it. I can't stop thinking about it. So please read, go listen to it. It was such an amazing, fun conversation with Ilona. And her book is so creative and unique. I will say, it might not be for everybody, but I think you'll pick up on that if you listen to the conversation, if it's maybe not for you, because you definitely need to be okay with a bit of a darker read, and you need to also be okay with some self-reflection. But all that said, I highly, highly recommend and would love for you to listen to that chat with Ilona. And then coming up to this month, we have the Fake Matchmaker with Sonia Singh, which I also covered in a reading recap as well. And then Ancient History Between Us by Caitlin Hill, which is going to whisk us away to Italy. So the Aperol Spritz will come in handy with Ancient History Between Us, I have a feeling. And then, of course, we will be finishing out our jet-setting tour of the Crazy Rich Asians trilogy with Rich People Problems. So that will round out our series special of Kevin Kwan's books. And if you've been reading along, listening, all of that is coming up this month. Thanks so much for listening. We hope you have an awesome summer of reading and that we have successfully added to your TBR with one or more books. Cheers!
Cheers.
Thanks so much for listening. The Narratives and Nightcaps podcast is a production of The Craft Co. with intro music created by Remington Haynes.
Subscribe to the show on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube. Follow at Narratives and Nightcaps on Instagram or visit our website, narrativesandnightcaps.com.
Sign up for our newsletter to always know what we're reading next, which authors are joining us on the show, and for extra bookish and beverage info.
Connect with our additional co-hosts, Jordan and Emily, as well.
You can find me on Instagram at Cozy Reads and Sips.
And you can find me on Instagram at books.bottles.
Cheers!
Cheers!